Some people can come up with some interesting ideas about how various games work, and the Warframe player base is no exception. Some of these dreamed up claims are laughably false, from suggesting that owning a max ranked basic Warframe makes the Prime more effective, to the idea that making your emissive colour red will give you bonus heat damage. Today, I'm going to explore 5 claims and find out what's really going on. I'm Nick Engineer, let's solve a practical problem. As you go through this video, maybe you think that you know some of the answers. Give it a try. Guess if each claim is true or false as it comes up and pop it into the comments. Let's see how well you do. Myth number 1. Weapons with a higher progenitor percentage reduce their slash status procs. Kuva and Tenet weaponry all come with a bonus to their base damage, the progenitor bonus. This varies between 25 and 60%, randomly assigned when the weapon is created. Following that, you can combine 2 of the same weapon to receive one with a higher progenitor bonus than you had before. Of the various damage types you can get as a bonus, slash isn't one of them. Does this mean that we're actively making slash worse? Let's compare 2 ends of the spectrum, a 25% and a 60%. For this example, I'll use the Tenet Flux Rifle, a suitably high slash weapon. The base damage of the Tenet Flux Rifle per shot is 4.8 puncture, 17.2 slash, and then the progenitor bonus. On the low end, with a 25% progenitor bonus, this would be 5.5 damage, while the high end of 60% will be 13.2. This means we go from a weapon which is 62.5% slash to a weapon that is 48.9% slash as the progenitor bonus increases. Status procs from a weapon are determined by status chance and damage type distribution, not counting any force status effects. The status chance bit only says how often any status procs are applied, while the damage type distribution governs which status types you actually get. In today's Warframe, all damage types are treated equally, meaning that having 62.5% slash in the damage distribution will result in 62.5% of the status effects being slash. The progenitor bonus does not increase the status chance, but it does decrease the proportion of the total damage that is slash. The end result being, it does reduce the number of slash procs you'll get, all else the same. However, the damage of a slash status effect scales off a few things, which all include base damage. This isn't just the base amount of slash. The slash status effect considers all damage present on the weapon before any mods are applied. This means that as you increase the progenitor bonus, you increase how much damage the slash status effect deals directly. Taking the Tenet Flux Rifle shots, again without mods, each instance of a slash status effect with a 25% progenitor bonus will deal 9.625 damage per second, while with the 60% bonus, this slash status rises to 12.32 damage per second. By multiplying the damage per second with the slash proportion, this will tell us the average amount of slash damage per second we get per status proc applied. For both the 25% and the 60% progenitor, this comes out to exactly the same value, 6.02. The average slash status damage your nemesis weapon can apply per second neither increases nor decreases when you improve the progenitor bonus, as even though the chance goes down, the damage per proc goes up. This has a further effect though. You won't just deal slash from status chance. Force slash status, such as from stances, as well as converted slash status, such as from hunter munitions, are all applied regardless of the damage type distribution. In these cases, the chance of applying slash does not go down as you improve your progenitor bonus, but the damage dealt still goes up. In the end, this means that improving the progenitor bonus on your nemesis weapon will increase your slash output if you apply slash any way other than simple status chance. So yes, a higher progenitor bonus does make slash procs less common, but the net result is still a buff to your slash output. Myth number 2. Rad-stagger gives the best chance of getting a rare item. To clear up a term there, a rad-stagger is a method of opening up radiant relics in a group. If each person has one radiant relic of the same type, they run the same relic fisher 4 times with only one person at a time bringing the Radiant Relic. Everyone else in the group just brings a throwaway relic of the same era. This is in contrast to a rad party, where everyone brings the Radiant Relic at the same time, only doing one relic fissure. That same party could go on to do 3 normal relic fissures afterwards, all with throwaway relics, for the same number of relics opened in total. So is one way better than the other for actually getting the item you want? The chance of a rare item from a Radiant Relic is 10%. So the chance of not getting a rare item from Radiant is therefore 90%. The probability of an event happening multiple times in a row is equal to the chance of one event raised to the power of the number of times we try. In this case, the chance of not getting a rare from 4 Radiant Relics is 90% to the power of 4, which is 65.61%. Given that that's the chance of not getting a rare, the chance of getting any rares is 100% minus this, which means we've got a 34.39% chance of getting rares. The chance of getting the rare item you're looking for does not change whether you open up the relics one at a time or all at the same time. The success condition is just getting the rare. So in this case, a rad-stagger does not improve your chances of getting a specific rare item. However, if you are looking to do a rad-stagger or rad party, this means the item you're looking for is valuable. Otherwise, you'd just open up a bunch of random relics and make a little platinum, just to buy what you need with no hassle. Well, if it's so valuable, maybe you'd like some more platinum. By opening up the relics one by one instead of all at once, your squad can not only get the rare item, but you now also have a chance of getting it 2, 3, or even 4 times over. You don't improve your chance of getting the rare item at least once, but you create the opportunity to get it more times. In a rad-stagger, you have a 29.16% chance of getting that rare once, a 4.86% chance of getting it twice, a 0.36% chance of getting it 3 times, and a mere 0.01% chance of getting it all 4 times. Multiplying out the chances, a rad party gets 1 rare 34.39% of the time, giving an average of 0.3439 rares per 4 relics. For the rad-stagger, the average comes out to exactly 0.4 rares per 4 relics, quite literally that 10% drop rate. This raises the average return of the specific rare drop by around 16%. So no, a rad-stagger will not improve your chances of getting a specific rare item for the first time. However, it does enable you to get more than one of that rare. Overall, this method just slightly improves your average return when farming for platinum or ducats. It's up to you to decide if that's worth the extra coordination. Myth number 3. Removing weapons give more affinity to the remaining weapon. Affinity can be gained and split in quite a number of ways, sometimes in ways you might not expect. For this myth, I'll just focus on Warframe weapons to keep it more brief. For a Warframe weapon, it can gain affinity in 2 ways. The first is to get a kill with the weapon, while the second is to receive global affinity. When you kill an enemy with a Warframe weapon, the affinity or experience from that kill goes 50% to your weapon and 50% to your Warframe. This happens regardless of the Warframe you have, the weapon you have, the level of the weapon, the type of enemy killed, all of that. Even if your Warframe is max ranked with no focus lens, it'll still take 50% of the affinity and just throw it in the bin. When instead you gain global affinity, such as from completing an objective or an ally getting a kill within range of you, 25% of the affinity is given to your Warframe, and the remaining 75% is split across your weapons. If you have 3 weapons equipped, that's 25% to each of your primary, secondary, and melee. With 2 weapons, it's 37.5% each, and with 1 weapon, it gets the full 75% of the affinity. So if you are leveling up a primary weapon, getting kills with any other weapon will give no affinity to your primary, while unequipping those other weapons means you will get more affinity from all outside sources onto your primary weapon. In fact, having someone else kill enemies will give you 50% more affinity per kill to your weapon than if you killed them yourself. That said, you should still be going for kills, as a faster mission will be more affinity over time. So this myth is true. taking off your other weapons does give more affinity to the one you are leveling, unless you are doing the killing yourself. Myth number 4. Relics are all named after their rare reward. We're going back to relics now, not in a math sense, but instead a matter of naming convention. The observant among you will have noticed that relics don't seem to have randomly assigned letter and number combinations. In current rotation, the Lith relics you can obtain in the Void Capture Mission Hepit are Lith B4, C9, G4, H3, N10, S11, T8 and T9. For all of these, the first letter of the rare item is indeed the letter used on the relic, and the number is just how many times we've had a Lith B relic or Lith N relic by now. And yet, if you are looking for a perfect system with no exceptions, you're playing the wrong game. 8 relics in Warframe do not follow this pattern. The Axii A1 and N1, Lith F2 and V1, Miso N2 and V2, and Neo N2 and V1 all have rare rewards which do not match the letter of these relics. These are older relics by gameplay standards, introduced before the naming convention became a thing. That adds to the myth that all relics are named after their rare reward. Technically, it's false. And now, onto our final myth of this video, and I'll let Dee's Rebecca and Megan introduce this one.
I don't think Romulus counts as headshot. Engineer will know.
Yeah. About this ribbon I've got.
Okay, that was...
What do you suggest?
So myth number 5, Vonvolus do not count as headshots. Is that what was happening in this clip? As it turns out, the entire Vonvolus is a headshot. They're nothing but floating sentient heads. With that said, in order to kill them, you must use your operator. Shooting them into their spectral form does not count as a kill. As a result, you can indeed kill Vonvolus to count towards headshot ribbons, but aim gliding, that's a bit beyond operators. They can aim, even in the air, but the gliding bit doesn't happen. Realistically, getting even a single kill whilst aim gliding as the operator would be impressive. But if you just have a challenge to get headshot kills, Vonvolus are a perfect pick. So this final myth is false. So that wraps up 5 curious claims in Warframe. Some suggestions you'll come across are surprisingly true, while others are just wrong, and there's a whole range of nuance in between. I do hope you have enjoyed this video or learned something new. If you have, give it a like and subscribe as well to catch more as it goes live. That's all from me for now though, so as always, find myths, apply science, and fight well, Tenno.